So you are ready to set sail on your very first cruise. There is definitely excitement around preparing for your first sailing, and it can come with some overwhelming feelings, maybe some questions. So let's navigate through some tips and things to know that may help you feel more prepared as you start to plan for your time out at sea. Hi, I'm Brandi from portalsandpassports.com, and I am here to help make your cruise planning prep as seamless and fun as possible. Let's get to those important tips to know so that you can have your best experience on board. Number 1, arrive the day before. Now don't miss the boat, literally. I always recommend arriving at least a day before your cruise departs to avoid any travel delays that may prohibit you from boarding. After months of planning, it would be a shame to miss the boat. If you are sailing from the Caribbean or the Bahamas or even the Mexican Riviera from West Coast ports, consider arriving the night before. You're headed to Alaska, Vancouver, and Seattle are very popular ports, and a night or two in these cities would offer a great chance to explore before you're sailing. Now, if you're headed over to Europe for a Mediterranean cruise, which would make an awesome first-time cruise experience, I would recommend heading over at least 2 days before your cruise departs, and maybe consider staying a few days after as well. If you're gonna make that flight over, try to have some time set aside to just take it all in. Number 2, pack a carry-on for embarkation day. Now, when you arrive at the port, you will be able to check in your luggage and it will be delivered to your stateroom, which really provides an easy way to get on board without having to lug all of your stuff around. But you are going to want to be sure to pack a carry-on to have with you. That's going to include your travel documents for check-in, any medication you may have, and some personal items that you may need, as you most likely will not see your luggage delivered to your stateroom until later in the afternoon or maybe even early evening. The pools will be open once you're on board, so be sure to pack your swimsuits as well, along with plenty of sunscreen, of course. Number 3. Get the app and book early. Most cruise lines will have an app for your mobile device that will be essential to have during your time on board. So be sure to download the app right after you book your cruise and become familiar with all the information and options that'll be available to you. You can also use the app to make dining reservations. You can book excursions through the app and check in for your sailing as well. You will be surprised to see how fast some of the reservations can fill up for certain sailings, and having the app set and ready to go will help you feel very prepared and ready even before you leave home. Number 4, consider dining options. When most people think of cruising, they think of buffets, and yes, there is a lot to choose from on board, but there's also some quick grab-and-go options. You're going to have the main dining room where you may need to select a time to dine for dinner. You may also consider some specialty dining during your cruise as well, and lots of family in tow. Definitely look at those main dining room times and make sure you're getting the earlier dining time if that accommodates your family's preferences. If you're traveling solo or you're looking for a more upscale dining while you're on board, you're definitely going to want to check out the specialty dining options. Some of my favorites would be Chops Grill or Giovanni's on Royal Caribbean, Cagney's and Le Bistro on Norwegian, and Palo on board Disney Cruise Line. And yes, adults, consider a Disney cruise. And yes to all things Palo, dinner and brunch. Number 5, plan out your port days and sea days. To balance out your time on board and in port, consider how much time you would like to have within each port destination and if there are any must-do attractions or experiences that you would like to do while you're in port. Be sure to know when your booking window opens so that you can begin to select some of those excursions right when they become available. Some destinations are going to have options for excursions that will sell out very quickly. And while I do recommend considering options through your cruise line to book, some great third-party options for excursions would also be available through Viator and Shore Excursion Group. Port days can really be as busy or as relaxing as you would like them to be. There will be plenty going on throughout the day and evening, and be sure to check your ship's schedule for each day to make sure you do not miss any of the highlights or must-dos while you're on board. Early morning time at the pool with a recharging nap in the afternoon before all of the nighttime festivities begin is never a bad thing. Number 6, know the dress code. Most major cruise lines will have cruise casual as the main dress code, with some options for themed or formal nights available as well. So watch for options like White Night on MSC or Pirate Night for Disney Cruise Line, and participate as much or as little as you would like. Make sure you have plenty of cruise casual, so that would be sundresses, slacks, polos for dinner and for evening, as the main dining and specialty dining options will not be the place for cutoff shorts or for your swimsuits that you had on during the day, so be prepared. Number 7, prep for your stateroom. Most staterooms will have limited plugs for all of the technology that we like to travel with, so be sure to bring a charging item that is allowed to be brought on board. On some cruise lines, you will also see cruisers decorate their doors or participate in a fish extender exchange, and the best way to find these special tips and tricks for your particular sailing would be to see if your cruise has a Facebook group. So go ahead and join in on the fun. If you are needing any items for your stateroom that are medically necessary, or items for a little one that you may have in tow, you can request these before you're sailing, or be sure to speak with your stateroom host once you're on board. And speaking of your stateroom host, be sure to meet them on the first day of your sailing. They can be a great resource for you during your cruise. Number 8, embarkation day open house. Families with kiddos, be sure to stop by the Kids Club to visit during the open house hours during embarkation. This is the best time to meet the counselors on board and ask any questions that you or your little one may have about the Kids Club. Be sure to take a quick walking tour of the ship once you're on board, just to get familiar with your new home, or maybe even after you grab a bite to eat at the buffet, just to get familiar with the ship. And of course, visit guest services if you need anything to help you get acquainted. Number 9, choose the right cruise line. All of the previous tips are great for any cruise line you may travel on, but the biggest tip I can offer to you is to pick the right cruise line for you. Each cruise line is going to offer its own unique experiences for some cruisers, and some cruise lines may offer a wide variety of ships just within that one company. Hello, Royal Caribbean. Your first cruise could really be hit or miss if you find yourself on the wrong ship. Are you traveling with kiddos? Start your search with Royal Caribbean or Disney, as they provide fantastic kid spaces, including options for tweens and teens. You have a multi-gen group traveling? Royal and Norwegian may be a great starting point, as these ships will offer a little bit of something for everybody. Adults? Virgin Voyages. Yes. Celebrity. Yes. Disney. Maybe. And for the solo traveler, cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and Norwegian have great stateroom options for solo travelers and have a wide variety of itineraries with places that you may want to explore. Number 10, let's choose an itinerary. Now, for your first time sailing, you may be tempted to lean towards a Bahamian or a Caribbean itinerary, and that would make complete sense. Those are very familiar, they're very popular, and they're also going to offer a wide variety of options, not only from where you could sail from, but also for the cruise line that you may be able to choose as well. So you're going to find sailings throughout Texas and Florida, even Louisiana, and some other ports as well, where you're going to find 3 to 7 night options for both the Bahamas and Eastern or Western Caribbean. So one of the tips that I would certainly give with that is look at those ports of call and those destinations that those itineraries may be going to. Somebody may really want to go to Cozumel for that first time during their sailing, so you're going to want to look at Western Caribbean. Somebody may really feel called to go to St. Thomas or Tortola, and that would be a really great Eastern Caribbean option as well. Most major cruise lines during their Bahamian and Caribbean itineraries are also going to incorporate a stop at their own private island destination, and that could be a really great reason to try some of these options for your first time out on the water. Now, for example, Royal Caribbean is of course going to have Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and Disney Cruise Line is going to have Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay. They have 2 areas in the Bahamas right now. And then of course you have Celebration Cay for Carnival that just opened up recently and looks like a lot of fun. Now, some of these destinations may really call to you, and that would be a great option to go for. But if you really are thinking Alaska, or you're really thinking Cabo, some of those Western and the West Coast cruises, those would be options as well. Alaska goes out of not only Vancouver, but also out of Seattle. And you could certainly look at some cruise lines that go out of there for your first time. One of the great things about what the cruise lines offer, especially for first-time cruisers, is a wide variety of nights that you would be on board. And that may be something that you want to consider as well. A lot of guests like to go for 3 or 4 nights just to see how they like being on the ship. And some people are totally fine with going out for their first time for a 7-night sailing, especially if there's a destination that you want to check off on your bucket list. Some of these options are going to be fantastic, and I certainly recommend doing some research and kind of seeing what might feel right for that first time cruise. Now, before I let you go, I'm going to give you one more just really quick bonus tip, because sometimes for first time sailors, you may feel a little overwhelmed by all the options that are available. You have small ships and big ships, and you have ships that have rock walls, and then you have ships that have some Broadway shows. You have ships that have it all, and then of course you have all the food and the entertainment, and maybe you have kids to consider. There's a lot to really consider, and sometimes it is great to have somebody talk through those options with you. And so my bonus tip for you would be, maybe reach out to a travel advisor, see if they could help. That is what we are here for. So certainly feel free to connect with a travel advisor. Maybe it's someone that you know, or feel free to reach out to us. We'd certainly be happy to help as well. I hope this was helpful, and let us know in the comments, what was your favorite tip? Seasoned cruisers, what other tips and tricks would you offer to first-time cruisers as well? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.